Okay. Hey, everybody. Today we're going to be just doing a short stream. This was something that's on my mind the last week or so because, we're always thinking, when is the next Logic Pro update coming out? What features is it going to have? All of those kind of thoughts. But then, over the break, like right before the holiday here in the United States last week, Live 12.3 came out with new updates. This is the, live from Ableton. And not that we compare Logic and Live that much. They're really different applications, more different than most. I would say Pro Tools is a lot like Logic, and Studio One and Cubase are a lot like Logic. But Live has always been something a little bit different, and that's 100% okay. But they just released 12.3, and part of it was their new stem separation. And it really got me thinking because brand new update, brand new stem functionality. And it's like the same that they got with Cubase just recently. In fact, without knowing for sure, uh, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the same licensed stem separator that most of them are using. They do vocals, drums, bass, and others. And those are the four stems that most workstations are able to separate. And so it got me thinking because with Logic, we don't have those four. We're not using the same separator that they are using. The one thing about the new live stem separator in 12.3 for them is that there is like a quick mode and a slow mode. And I've been seeing people doing tests. And if they're on a Silicon Mac, they tend to go pretty fast. But a lot of things on Windows and their other format, they're taking a long time to do those stem separation, like minutes, like longer than like double digit minutes sometimes to do a full song on the high quality mode. And you can still, for the most part, hear that they're stem separated. And so that's what got me thinking a little bit about the Logic one. In the last update from Apple for Logic Pro, we did get an enhanced stem splitter. That was 6 months ago in May of 2025, just over 6 months at this point. And when we do the stem separator here, the stem splitter, we have vocals, drums, bass, guitar, piano, and other. So we have 6 different things. And I find it interesting. I find it interesting that a lot of other workstations right now, when they're releasing a stem splitter separator into the workstation, that they're all getting the 4 instead of, something new and innovative. They're not pushing the boundary at all. And to me, that's kind of like the splice integration where great, you're integrating splice in. It's a third party thing. It's a feature that they're offering to their user base, but it's not really something that they're doing themselves. And I've been more and more impressed with the Logic Pro stem splitter every time I've used it. We'll listen to just one example of a way that I think it is really powerful. This all came about for me. The real change happened recently when I was doing some like songwriting with a upright piano, and it's not a studio, just like a living room. And I came into Logic and I did the stem separation, and I couldn't tell that the piano had the vocal removed. I mean, the piano sounded just like the piano in the room. It wasn't a great piano. It wasn't like an amazing one, but pulling out the vocal didn't leave any artifacts whatsoever. And that, it just like blew my mind that Logic in this one area, more than 6 months ago, put this on, and people have been doing or adding stem splitters into their workstations over the course of that time, which are doing less than what we have here with Logic Pro. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know that we have a few people watching now. If you've been using the Logic Pro stem splitter, what are the results that you've gotten from it? Like, I'd love to hear how it's been working for you. on an individual basis, but um, it's really fascinating. So when I do like dig a little deeper online, as far as I can tell, this is not something that they've licensed from another company. This is something that, well, they may have purchased it from somebody. They may own it from someplace else, but as far as I can tell, this is, an in-house type of production from Apple to put this into Logic. And there are some other services out there online. You can go find some good splitters online that do more than what the Logic Pro does. I'm not saying that this is the best stem splitter that has ever been created. And I'll talk for a few minutes about what they could add in a future version. I'm assuming this is something that they will add just because you see this being added in almost every workstation out there. When every dog gets it, that means that there's this perceived interest in it from everybody. And of course, I feel like Apple does follow those trends to a certain degree. Okay, so let's actually look at this. I did this song. It will remain nameless for the moment. Probably nothing you've ever heard. It's a vocal and a piano at the beginning, and then it adds a guitar. There's no drums or bass in this one. Sometimes the guitar sounds a little synthy, and we'll talk about how that translated here. But I wanted to just do something more pure for a moment. Not necessarily easier, because I feel like if you have a piano and a voice with a lot of reverb and some processing, that's still a relatively complex thing to split. And I want to play just a little bit of this piano just part way through here, just the piano for now. When you do the split, the default split here, it puts it into a track stack, which is kind of nice. You can always take them out of the track stack if you want to, but it's a nice way to keep it organized. Let me play a little bit of this. At the same time, there were vocals, but I've just muted them. I mean, without playing too much, that sounds incredible. There's very few artifacts. If I listen close, I can maybe hear there's something a little bit funky happening. Now keep in mind they add a guitar later, and I'm gonna solo out the guitar part that's happening at the same time as vocals and the piano. Again, it sounds pristine. It's really, really good. Now, if I were to improve upon the Logic Pro stem splitter, it would be when you do the drums, and we could even pull in a song with drums if we wanted to, but I don't know if it's important to right now or not. It would be to give me all of the individual drum pieces as separate tracks. So the snare, the kick, all the cymbals, all of that stuff. Or at the very least, because this would be the thing that Logic could do that would just blow me away. There's that new Waves audio drum replacer that actually goes through and analyzes each of the different drum pieces and then allows you to trigger new pieces in that. I don't think that would be extremely difficult. It may take some time to develop it, but each part of the drum kit, the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, the cymbals, the toms, all of them have their own like sonic space. And it's fairly typical from kit to other kit to other kit that they're similar. And so to give us like MIDI for each of those, or to even be able to just pull them out and give us tracks for each of them, I think that would be super useful. Partially because then we could take something like the percussion we have in our loop browser, all the content that comes with Apple, any of them that are audio files, and we could actually take those and instead of just splicing them up, cutting them up or retriggering them in different orders, we could actually strip out some of the elements from them and make even more creative loops from them. I think if I were to guess, the next time we get any sort of significant stem splitting upgrade in Logic Pro, that's where it'll come. Because so far, and I'm not going to play the vocal on this song that I split because it's, copyright protected, but the voice with the reverb sounds incredible on this split. Take any song without the drum section and do a split with it, and you'll be blown away by how good the Logic Pro splitter actually sounds. The minute drums get into play, there's some things that happen. One of them is if you have a fully mastered track, it's going through heavy limiting or other mastering effects. Sometimes the drums, as they hit, the way that it's all compressed is that it will actually, as it gets limited, it's actually taking down the dynamic of some of the other things that are there. So when you split them, it represents in that same way. So you'll hear like a little dip every time like the snare or the kick was hitting in the other parts. And that's not because the stem splitter is doing a bad job. It's because it's doing the exact job that you've given it. It's actually just removing the stuff out, and that's actually what's in the master. And so, sure, you're going to have some of those issues. It's not going to replace that stuff. It's not like intelligent enough to actually go through and smooth that stuff out. It's just not there because of the mastering process. But if you were to take a song that doesn't have that intense of a mastering process on it, or just overall dynamic squishing that we like to do in some modern styles, then you actually end up with all of this really pure, clean sounding results from the stem splitter, and it's amazing. And so that to me was the big eye opener. It's like I tried it on all these other songs, and I kept on thinking, man, it sounds like a stem splitter has been at work here because of the up and down, the pumping of the sound, and when I actually put this on songs that didn't have that as part of the production aesthetic, then I ended up with this result that just is so clean and pure. Hey, Frank, you said hi 4 times differently, each one. I was on a rant though. How's it going? Cool. We have in Logic right now, I would say, one of the best set of features that any workstation has. There may be exceptions to that. There are some of you who are like, well, I really wish it had this. I really wish it had that. But there's none of them, I don't think, that are a total deal breaker. I don't think there's any feature inside Logic where you would go, wow, that's really such a deal breaker for the entire program. I can't use it. Except for maybe ARA. That's maybe one of the only ones, in my opinion, right now. And it's like I use a few ARA plugins, but I'm not. That's not going to like make me want to switch over to something else, which will have a different set of issues all by itself. And I really, as we're getting ready for the next update to come, which I think is shortly. I think it's going to be coming soon. I think I was just feeling extra, I don't know if grateful is the right word, but I was feeling really calm about the place that Logic Pro is right now in terms of all the things that I would ever want to do, and how much power it has and how much we can accomplish with this piece of software as it is right now. You could do pretty much any song you would ever want inside Logic Pro without using third-party effects or plugins or instruments, and I think you could accomplish pretty much anything you wanted. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. I would love to make this next 10 or 15 minutes more interactive. We had a bunch of people jump on the stream. I think ranting about this is maybe a little bit, not what everybody's looking for this afternoon. But I would love to know which of the things in Logic you found extremely useful this month, Like when you've been doing songs, like what are the things you keep on reaching for that are awesome? Like what are the tools in here that are actually really high on your list? I'd love for the few of you who are watching to tell me about it in the comments. We all know Frank is there. But for me, the stem splitter is something, as I see other workstations get half of what Logic Pro already has, it makes me kind of think that, we shouldn't rag on Logic Pro's stem splitter as much as maybe we have at various points on this channel, because it's powerful and it's good, and maybe above all else, it's it's included. We're not paying an extra fee. We're not having to upload things onto someone's website, which is problematic for different reasons. It's so fast too. This whole song took maybe like 7 seconds to split all of the different stems out. That's not the case of what everybody else is experiencing. It just isn't. We'll see. This may be one of those streams that I rant for a few minutes and then never sees the light of day afterwards. We've done quite a few of those actually, where we talk, and then the video goes away at the end of it. It happens. Let's see. Got a good comment. I'm grateful for having Logic Pro for iPad, despite it not being a one-to-one match with desktop. Allows me more flexibility when traveling. I agree with that. It's not a one-to-one, although I would say in the next 2 years, there'll be a one-to-one. They'll be the same. And that's not because the iPad version will get all of the desktop version. It's that the desktop version will go away and we'll just have the iPad version, and they'll continue to add things that people really want. I'm not sure how many of you, there's like 10 or 11 of you watching right this second. How many of you use the score editor inside Logic Pro? Like notation. It's like I do use it. I use it primarily when I'm songwriting, and it's like I play something and then I want to play another part, either an additional keyboard part or a bass part. And so I put the notation up on the screen, and because I read notes and it means something to me to be able to see the harmonies that I played and then can play the bass part. If I look at the MIDI, that doesn't tell me anything. It's just a bunch of boxes on a screen, but the notation tells me what chords I played and all of that. So for me, the notation editor is something that it doesn't have to be so complicated. Could be a much simpler version on the iPad version, but the desktop version notation thing it's a huge part of Logic. But I feel like I would say the average users don't use it as much. Maybe there's some real power users who are composing and things, but I'm guessing that they're probably not using it there either. Michael says the stem splitter is pretty good. I think it's better than the other DAW workstations. It may not be better than the boutique stem splitters you can find, like that do just that or just focus on that type of thing online. There are some ones that are better, but I think of all the built-in ones, I'm surprised to say that when Ableton just came out with theirs, that it's like super basic. They got a basic one. And everyone rejoiced, and I thought, why are you rejoicing with such a basic version of what stem splitting is? It's clear that they even talk about it. They licensed it from somebody and incorporated it, but it's basic. You pay a lot for Ableton. Someone, yeah, last someone used the score editor maybe 2008. Yeah, I mean, so when the iPad version becomes our only version, we'll find out what's really important to the Logic development team. And there are a few things that I really would like. I don't think we have the groove tracks or a lot of the marker arrangement track functionality on the iPad version. Those things will be added. I've got no doubt. They're not like overly complicated. I'm trying to think of what else. Spatial audio. That could be just reserved for the Mac version. I don't know. It's a big ask to have an iPad do like a full spatial audio mix. Maybe. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe just interface wise, but I think actually an iPad interface for spatial audio would be better than the Mac version because you have the touch component and you could pan around spatial audio in a way that you have to use your mouse for on the Mac version most of the time. Cool. Michael's saying, I did some pretty elaborate use of drummer and bass track and chord track. Works pretty well. Some annoyances. I agree. There are some annoyances. And also, Michael says, I was hoping the score editor would show the chords in the chord track. I mean, think about if they were really to take this in that direction, where you could use the score editor in ways that would tie into the chord track and the session players. Boom. I mean, there would be so many cool things you could do with that if they were just wanting to go down that direction. The only program out there right now that really uses the score editor in a powerful way would be Cubase / Nuendo from Steinberg, because they tie in the MIDI data to the score editor. So if you like draw a crescendo, the MIDI crescendos. And I mean, it's tied together in such an integrated way that it's really useful. And nobody else has really done that. Ellie Winter says, if I had Apple Silicone, I would be using the Logic Stem Splitter a lot. But using for now Sample Lab and RipX DAW. And that's, I mean, again, I'm not suggesting that that the stem splitter in Logic is the best one on the market. Not what I'm saying at all. I just feel like of all the ones incorporated currently into DAWs, into workstations, it is the most full-featured and most powerful, directly integrated into a workflow with the potential of becoming even the best one on the market if they would just continue to develop it as they have been. I mean, it's like a year ago or two, whenever they originally released it, to 6 months ago, that was a huge step up. 6 months. I mean, if the new update, and we're looking for a small update this week or next week or in December, it may not come. I feel like there's some turmoil at Apple right this moment, and it's trickling down to all of the apps, but it's like they didn't or haven't yet released like some of their other products, Apple TV units that were rumored, and it's like they have a lot of things that are kind of slowly just like decaying in terms of product life. And it's right before the holiday time when people spend a lot of money. Black Friday broke some sort of, records here with, billions of dollars spent. And a lot of that, timing could have really helped boost some of these products. But right in time for the holidays, I don't know. We'll see what comes out before, the big Christmas holiday, celebrated many places around the world as a worship of consumerism and things of selling and buying. And so maybe, but I'm guessing if we get an update for Logic shortly, it'll be a smaller one, a point upgrade, obviously. And it could feature things like some more stem capabilities. That'd be one of them. A chord track upgrade capabilities. Maybe a new session player, but that seems bigger in some ways. Maybe ARA compatibility, but I kind of doubt it from all the things I've read from people online. I know some people who are on the team who have said things about how it's coming but slowly. So ARA probably not. But and that's like the level of this stuff, you know? These smaller upgrades would have 3 or 4 or 5 new things and a bunch of bug squashes. And then in May, when it's been a year since the one last May, then maybe some bigger ones in time for the summer break. Hard to say. But this stem, I mean, again, test out the stem splitter on something that hasn't been like totally obliterated in the master. Some things that are more natural sounding, and just listen. You'll hear how impressive it is. It's really impressive, and so I'm blown away by it. And it happens locally on the actual computer. You don't have to have internet or have a service that's third party or pay somebody else. Um, those are all benefits that a lot of people care about. Um, yeah, ARA. Another comment about ARA would be nice to have. Um, I would use ARA with Synthesizer V and Resing. I'm not really a Melodyne user, and I'm not a vocal line user. I can do both of those things to the level that I need with Flex in Logic. Again, yeah, probably Melodyne is better than Flex overall with the pitch correction. But the Flex pitch in Logic, 8 times out of 10 is perfect. If you're singing so poorly that you can hear the artifacting of Flex pitch, then there's something else to focus on. Like get some singing lessons or get a better singer. It's like we don't need we don't necessarily need to really shoot the music industry in the foot by promising people who can't sing that they can, be singers. It's like we now have AI to do that for us and make us feel bad about it. Ellie Winter says, as of now, my way of using Melodyne might not change even if they add ARA. If they don't let you work from the region level with the new ARA, then my way of using Melodyne Logic won't change. Yeah, but that's the idea. If you did have ARA and Melodyne, then you could do some of that stuff right there on the track. Cool. The other thing in terms of stem splitting that I would love, this would be amazing, is to say, okay, when you split out the vocals, right now it's bringing the reverb when it can. I mean, when it has it clearly there. It would be awesome to say, give me a dry or with effects or just effects. Does that make sense? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to just to pull out a vocal from a track and say, give me a dry version of that with no reverb? That's possible. I mean, reverb is a predictable thing that can be assessed and analyzed and then separated. There's no way that it's impossible. It may just take some really clever designers, but it would be awesome to say with effects, without effects, or just effects. Those time-based ones like delays and reverbs, because then I could take a vocal thing from a track and repurpose it, adding my own reverb from the new production. Or if I'm using the vocal to trigger a synthesizer V's engine, then I could more easily do that without having the reverb tail. Another comment, flex pitch has gotten better over the years. I don't find myself reaching for Melodyne nearly as much. It has. It started off kind of rocky, but that's the beauty of this incremental updates that I don't think everyone realizes. There are a lot of people who are like, you can't use flex pitch for things. And at one point, that was 100% accurate. It wasn't as good at the very beginning. It has gotten better and better and better. And they've mentioned that inside the release notes. And every once in a while, I think it just gets better without them actually saying something. They're not required to tell us every time they make an improvement. They try, but I think sometimes it sneaks through. Well, this is about as far as I was going to go on this stream today. I just wanted to point out, with all of the other updates coming from other companies, like we have been getting some really awesome stuff in Logic in the past couple of years. They haven't been holding back. It's impressive, and it was just a reminder to, if you're not using it, or if you pass it over because you heard it wasn't great, maybe go back and check it out because it could be really impressive. Okay, that's it for this stream. Short and sweet. Hope you're having a good day. If we get a Logic update this week, we'll be streaming some more. Have a really terrific Monday.